told us that she kicked the door in. She was mad about not finding Yahtzee dice, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then she took some water and she threw the water in the heater.
Yes, Your Honor.
When does the hammer come into play?
It was already in play, coming out of the kitchen.
At what point did she pull your prosthetic leg off?
That was after we were back tangled up like worms on the floor in front of the couch. You're
At
lucky
some
that
point she pulls your leg off and she beats you with your own leg. Recalling 2455927 people of the state of Michigan versus Tammy Ellen Kimmons. Defendant is charged in count 1 assault with a dangerous weapon, count 2 domestic violence. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shelley Jenkins, the people, P number 60249.
Good morning, Your Honor. Neighborhood Defender Service.
Get out this shit.
P number 85828,
Yeah, we
appearing
gone.
on behalf of Tammy Cummins, who is present in the courtroom. Please state your name for the record.
Tammy Ellen Cummins.
There's a time set for preliminary examination. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
How many witnesses for the people?
One witness, Your Honor.
All right, any preliminary matters before you call your witness?
No, Judge.
Call your witness.
At this time, the people would call Mr. Thomas Cross.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat in the witness box right next to me. Want to have a seat? Voice up nice and loud and speak into that microphone that's to your left, okay? And again, when you're ready.
Thank you. All right, good morning. Please state your name again for the record.
Thomas Carl Cross.
All right. Mr. Cross, I'm going to be asking you some questions today. If you don't understand something, or if you want me to repeat it, please let me know, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And do you know what you're here for today?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you here for?
At the request of the prosecuting attorney, I have made an appearance
Okay. And do you know why you were told to be here?
concerning what happened on the street.
Okay. All right. So I want to bring your attention back to the date of February 25th of this year, 2024. Remember that date? Okay. And, yes. All right. And
Please
where,
keep your voice up.
Yes,
and where were you on that date? Okay. And is that a location in the city of Detroit in the county of Wayne?
yes, it is.
Okay. And is that a house?
Yes, it is.
Is it your house?
No, it isn't.
Whose house is it?
The owner is a Kashanka Dean Tolbert.
Okay. So were you renting or just?
Yes. I rent a room.
Okay. And was there anyone else that was renting there or living there as well?
2 other individuals,
Who are those people?
Brian Michael Ross and Tammy Ellen Cummins.
Okay. Do you see either one of those people in the courtroom here today?
Yes,
Who do you see?
Miss Tammy Ellen Cummins.
Okay. Could you indicate where she is in the courtroom here today and what she's wearing?
She is sitting to my right and wearing a gray, black, and off-white striped horizontal shirt.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Your Honor, please let this record reflect that this witness has identified the defendant, Tammy Cummins.
So noted.
Thank you, Judge. All right, now bring you back again to that day at that location. Was Ms. Chemnitz there with you on that day?
Yes,
Okay, what happened?
Brian and I were sitting in my room. She came down questioning me about a couple of missing Yahtzee dice. Kicked in the door, threw the water on the electric heater and Brian. And proceeded to tear through the house.
Okay, and Where is your home, where is your room located?
So that would be the southeast corner of the house, which would be facing Main Street. If you're looking at the house, it would be farthest window to the left.
Okay, and this is on the main floor, not an upper floor?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so you said she was asking about some Yahtzee dice?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's for a game, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what did she do or say to you specifically, if you remember?
I don't think I'm permitted to use that kind of language, but
We're all grown up, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay.
7:30 in the morning, she's calling me, fucking idiot. Low life loser. Just all kinds of things, because I wouldn't get up and go find her other two missing Nazi guys. And I told her at 7:30 in the morning, let me have my coffee. And I had just lit up a medicinal morning deal. And Brian had just sat down on the floor when she kicked the door open. And she turned around a couple of seconds later, the lamp got smashed, the water got picked up, thrown in the room. And it had just exploded from there.
Okay, and how do you know, Tammy Kemnitz?
We've been friends on Facebook for a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Okay, were you in a dating relationship at any time?
Not prior to her moving in.
Okay, but then you were at some point in a dating relationship, is that right?
I'd say it was a little more on consensual adult friends with benefits type thing.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
You know, it could have turned into a relationship to things that been differently, but by the directions they were going, to quote 50 Cent, it is what it is.
Okay, understood, thank you. Okay, now, you stated that, she left the room, right?
It came back numerous times.
Okay, so what happened as she came back numerous times?
She just kept destroying things, and calling me a dirty old bastard, and I was a worthless and ugly piece of shit. She just kept stomping on me emotionally and physically. You know, it hadn't done anything yet except for she had shocked the hell out of Brian
Okay,
and blown up another electric heater.
okay,
So, you know, I got mad. I went in there, I had that, I told her, you keep breaking my shit, I'm gonna break something here.
okay. So you said she hadn't done anything to you physically yet, is that what you stated?
Yeah, the physical didn't start until I stood up and tried to close the door.
Okay, so tell me about what happened during that incident.
She just ran up and chest bumped me like she was body checking me in the Red Wings game.
Okay, and what happened, what you did that to you? What happened to you?
Told her to stay out of my room.
What happened after that?
She kept coming back at me.
Okay,
We ended up going out into the living room face to face.
okay,
I kept telling her to stay out of my room. She kept telling me I'll go wherever I want to go.
okay,
And I'll do whatever I want to do.
okay, what happened after that?
Well, that's when I realized she was serious, because she went into the kitchen and started throwing away ashtrays, dog collars with tags on them, one of my lighters, some kitchen utensils, food, just destroying things.
Okay, and what happened after that?
Well, that's when I took her phone out with the big stick, and there was a hammer that was there that got kicked out, so we ended up fighting over the hammer.
What happened with the hammer?
it came out of nowhere.
What do you mean it came out of nowhere?
1 minute, she was standing there with nothing in her hands, and the next minute, I'm picking myself up off the floor, and there's a hammer involved. So I grabbed the hammer. She had the hammer, I had the hammer. We started fighting over the hammer, and we hit the floor, and I realized she meant business because she kept trying to turn the claw end of the hammer towards me.
Okay,
So I had no choice but to apply to the wrestling moves
okay,
to physically restrain her to keep from getting hurt.
okay. Were you hurt with the hammer at all?
No, but she did reach up with the other hand and grab the broken lamp and slam it into my face.
Okay, and were you injured from that at all?
Yeah,
What happened?
split my lip open, chipped one of my lower teeth. Yeah,
Okay, and what kind of lamp was this?
brass dust lamp.
You said it shifted to? Let me see.
Oh, it was already a bad tooth in the first place, but. She just knocked the back half of it off. Ain't no good. I got dental issues anyway, from blood thirsty. Yes.
So the record should reflect the witness showed me the top portion of the right side of, looks like maybe the second or third tooth. Third tooth.
Thank you, Judge. All right, what happened after that?
Well, that's when I started realizing she really meant business. So I tried to mount her in a side mount using a wrestling move. And I don't know what happened. She got the strength of Andre the Giant and 4 others.
Okay,
She straightened out so hard that when she straightened her legs out, all she did was grab hold of my ankle and finish pulling the ankle, and my prosthetic come off.
okay. And what prosthetic do you have?
I'm in a right below the knee amputee,
Okay,
and we got the full deal on.
okay, and that's your right leg.
Yes, and this contains a similar material to a scuba diver suit that holds it on the suction.
Okay. So what did that mean for you?
That meant she was pulling awfully damn hard to get my leg off.
Okay, and did she get it on?
Oh yeah, she got it off and loose, and I tried to turn around and get it. Whether she meant to or not, she cracked me in the back and the side of the head with that thing 3 times.
With your leg?
Yeah. And I was trying to crawl around and maintain a grip on her hair to hold her head back.
Okay.
If I can keep her head back, I got control of the snake. You control the head, you control the snake. Well, I'm trying to hold her and the hammer at the same time with my forearm across the side of her neck. She's got my prosthetic and she's whipping it back.
Okay,
And, you know, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. And her eyes, I swear to God, were rolling around in her head.
okay. And
It was unreal.
so did she actually hit you with your own prosthetic leg?
Yeah,
And where?
back on the side of the head.
Okay, how many times do you know?
3.
Okay, and were you injured at all from that?
It lunged me up, but
It lumped you up,
yeah.
meaning you had lumps on your head from no?
Yeah, but there was like, no concussions, but I wasn't seeing frosted donuts or no.
Okay, and what happened after that?
Well, finally, I reached up and I put my fingers on her eyelids and I told her, I said, if you don't stop, I'm gonna hurt you. And I kept caressing her eyelids with my fingertips, let her know I was there. And I could hurt her if I really wanted to. And she took a deep breath and I said, I'll quit if you'll quit.
What happened next?
I started to turn loose and she went wildcat one more time.
What did she do?
She stiffened up on me, so I tore back down on her neck again.
Okay, what happened after that?
We struggled for about another 60 seconds, maybe. In all actuality, probably more like 30.
Okay.
But she was locked in and we struggled to get out
Okay,
and continue. I was locked in a struggle to maintain and stop it.
okay,
So finally, she said, I get it. So when I felt her relax, I relaxed. I got up, I got my leg. And I started to put my leg on, and then I became this dirty, rotten, nasty bastard, and this, that, and the other, and she was gonna call the police, and she stormed out the door. Went
Okay.
next door to Miss Wimbley's and used her phone,
okay,
and she called the police on me.
okay. And did the police arrive?
Yep.
And did you tell the police what happened?
I didn't have to, it took one look at me, and it took one look at her, and they went back out after her.
And what did you look like?
Bloody mess.
What do you mean a bloody mess?
Well, my mouth wouldn't quit bleeding from the split on the inside of my lip.
Okay,
The gouges, well, as you can see, the one here on my hand, I got that almost 5 days ago, it still hasn't healed.
okay,
Now, the gouges that she put on and that occurred naturally throughout the altercation were bleeding.
okay. Right, so
But-
you were bleeding,
You know, I didn't care about none of it. I didn't care how bad I was hurt. I just wanted this to stop. You know, here it is, it's 7:30 in the morning. I've only had half a cup of coffee, and this is over 2 missing Nazi books.
okay, and so the police arrived, and did you see them take anyone into custody?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
This thing.
Okay. Thank you, I have no further questions at this point.
Cross exam.
Need something, Mr. Cross?
You guys can.
No, you can just. I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and if you can't hear or misunderstand anything, just let me know, all right?
Yes.
Right, so you testified Ms. Chemnitz came into your room at 7:30 in the morning, right?
Yes.
And you are upset that she comes into your, well, let me rephrase. She comes in upset, right?
Yes.
And it's sort of just throwing your day off right away.
No, I'm used to it. I was married to a bipolar woman for over 33 years. So it's nothing new.
Was married to a what?
Bipolar manic depressive.
Bipolar.
Yes. Thank you for allowing me to clarify that.
And you said you were smoking a joint, right?
Brian was getting ready to fire one up, yes.
Okay. And Tammy is yelling at you
Through the door.
through the door.
Closed and locked, yes.
And she throws water, you said, right?
After she kicked the door open, yes.
And she's continuing to scream at you.
By now she's in the living room breaking things.
Okay, and so that's when you come out and you're pissed at her, right?
Yeah, I told her to knock it off.
Knock it off, stop breaking things, right?
Mhm.
And so to get her to stop talking, you smash her phone, right?
No,
You did smash her phone. You just testified to that on direct, right?
yeah,
Okay, so, and she's also calling you things. She's calling you a worthless piece of, no good piece of shit, I believe you testified to, right?
yeah, nasty bastard,
Yeah.
no good piece of shit. It's, you know, the same thing.
And that's not
Every time
making-
she's mad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That's not making you feel good, right?
Well, it really don't bother me that much. It's just names.
Well, you testified that it made you mad,
You get tired of it.
right? You get tired of it. And so
It
you,
doesn't make me mad. It's just, I got tired of it. I finally said something.
well, sir, you did testify, just on direct examination, I got mad. That was your testimony, was it not?
If I said that, I said that.
And so at that point, you stand up and you tried to close, well, before the phone smashing, at one point you stood up and you tried to close the door.
Mhm.
And that's when Tammy chest bumped you.
Yes.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, you guys are on the ground, tussling, fighting over the hammer, right?
That occurred all the way up into the kitchen.
In the kitchen, you're
Yeah.
fighting over the hammer.
That's where it started with the hammer, yeah.
And you're trying to grab the hammer, and she's trying to grab the hammer, right?
Oh, she had a hold of the hammer. I couldn't get it away from her.
But you were both pulling over the hammer, right?
You're damn straight.
Yes. And at one point, you testified that you tried to mount her, right?
Oh, I mounted her several times.
You mounted her several times, and with that hammer, you actually tried to put the hammer around her neck, didn't you?
No, I put it across the side of her neck.
Across the side of her neck, right?
Yeah.
That could seriously injure someone, could it not?
Yeah, I thought we were applying more pressure.
And so at that point, that's when she takes the prosthetic leg and hits you with it, right?
No. She hit me with the lamp in the face first. Then she
You
got my leg.
testified,
She hit me in the face with the lamp first.
you testified,
Then
okay,
she
sure.
got my leg off.
And she hit you with the lamp, you say, after you were struggling over the hammer, right?
Back in the kitchen, into the living room, onto the floor, still struggling with the hammer, yes. Then she reaches up and gets the lamp, and I took one in the mouth. Then we continued the tussle. Then she got my leg off.
I understand, sir. Okay, so then you should get to
Well,
your leg off.
apparently you don't, because you keep trying to move the time frame.
Not trying to move the time frame, just trying to get the facts straight, okay?
Let's keep it in order, please.
And, so after she hits you with the lamp, I just want to be clear, she's on the ground, right?
Both of us were, yeah,
Both of you are on the ground, struggling, fighting.
like two worms.
Two worms, okay. And that's when she gets the prosthetic leg and hits you.
Yes,
And then you pull her hair, right?
yes,
Yeah. You said control the head, control the snake, right?
correct,
And you put fingers on her eyelids, right? Testified to that?
yes.
You tell her, I could hurt her if I could hurt you if I really wanted to, right?
So please stop. Yes, I
Okay,
did that numerous times.
okay. And you did not call the police, right?
No, I've made a phone call.
You made a phone call?
Yes, I called 911 as well.
Okay, as well.
I
Okay.
was the one that had been attacked. And she's gonna be the one to make the phone call. Well, fine. I let her go next door and make a phone call.
Okay, so she's next door when she leaves, right? She goes next door to your neighbor's house from your
Mrs.
perspective?
Wimberly, yes.
Mrs. Wimberly, yeah. And so then the police come and they speak to Tammy first, right?
Yes,
And then they go to speak to you, right?
I was detained until they spoke with her, yes.
And then you did not seek medical attention, right?
No,
Okay. And so remind me, how long have you guys been roommates?
probably a year-ish.
A yearish. And so during that time, you were sort of friends with benefits, right?
That is correct.
Then had that ended before this event occurred?
It never ends.
Okay, so it's sort of on and off then, right?
More on than off, but yeah.
More on and off.
It depends on her mood. Believe me, I'm not gonna say no. After that,
And have you ever assaulted Ms. Kemnis before?
never.
And do you have any prior convictions that relate to either theft or dishonesty within the last 10 years?
No,
Okay. So, based on your testimony, you've been fed up with Tammy for a while, right?
just another day in paradise. I mean, it all depends on how
Is
it
that,
starts.
is that a yes or no?
No,
Okay,
I wasn't, trying to get rid of her or nothing. We just weren't being beneficial at it anymore, to either, so.
you weren't getting the benefits then, right?
Yeah, it was when I was.
Your sexual relationship had,
Yeah.
had ended.
Yeah.
One moment, Your Honor. Did you ever ask Cammy to marry you?
Yes,
And what did she say?
she said she'd think about
So she didn't say yes.
it. First she said yes, then she said, well, maybe, and then it was like, okay, what's the problem here? And then she started with not taking her meds, going back into the extremes, and I told her, I said, this just can't be. I just went through 30 years of this.
Okay, so based on this sort of the tumultuous nature of your relationship, wouldn't it be easier if Tammy weren't living with you?
That would be a hard thing for me to say because there was more benefits than just the sexual aspect of our relationship that were beneficial to both of us. It's not like I hate the woman or anything. No.
Okay,
All right, I'm gonna keep my opinion.
Thank you for doing that.
no further questions.
Can you redirect?
Just briefly. I just want to ask you just a couple of clarification questions about the hammer incident between yourself and Ms. Evans, okay?
Yes,
All right, so when did you first see the hammer?
depends on which hammer. There's at least 3 of them in 2 different rooms.
Okay, I'm really just thinking of the hammer that you were kind of struggling over, that you had testified about already.
That one I'm pretty sure was in the floor, already in the living room. I had a wall of tools, and during the ensuing struggle, a lot of the tools, hatchets, camp axes, drill bits, things like that, got kicked around, knocked out in the living room and the hallway.
Okay,
So
so did you?
somewhere, it came off the floor somewhere between the kitchen and the living room, and I ended up with it in my hand. And I told her, hey, very well, sure, why?
So did you pick up the hammer first, or did you see her with the hammer first? If you remember.
Honestly, can't recall.
Okay, and what specifically do you recall happening with that hammer?
Well, I remember that hammer being involved with her and I on the floor, and then I ended up with the silver hammer. She had the framing hammer, I had the east wing blue handle hammer that I used to hook the claws on her red handled hammer that she had a hold of, to pull it back across the side of her neck where I could get my forearm across it,
Okay, and why did you do that?
to assist me in my pulling power.
Okay, and
It
why?
was a force of leverage to be able to maintain control of her by putting another object stronger than my arm across the side of her neck to assist me in holding her down.
And why were you doing that at all?
Because she was trying to hit me with that hammer.
Okay, because she was trying to hit you with the hammer.
Yeah,
Were you trying to hit her with the hammer?
no, I was trying to use it to restrain her.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Okay, there was so much going on.
Well,
You told us, hold on, you told us that she kicked the door in. She was mad about not finding Yahtzee dice, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then she took some water and she threw the water in the heater.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was the first physical thing that she did with you?
Just bumped me right there in my bedroom door.
And when she chest bumped you, what did you do?
Just bumped her back and sent her in the living room.
And then you said she went in the living room and started tearing things up.
Yep, started with desk lamps
What was the
and
next physical thing that happened with you and her?
was when we made contact in the kitchen. After I spent, I told her, you break mine, I'm gonna break yours, eye for an eye, and I broke her phone. And she said, you're gonna pay for that, and I said, so, I'll pay for it. And it pissed her off, and next thing you know, she launches herself on me like she's Superman. She just literally airborne. I've never seen anything like it in my life, Your Honor. It looked like something out of a Bruce Lee movie.
Your analogies are kind of funny from time to time.
Oh, she ain't nothing to mess with.
So the next physical thing that happened was she launched herself at you and.
Yeah, we hit the floor.
Hit the floor. And when does the hammer come into play?
It was already in play, coming out of the kitchen. As soon as we hit the floor in the living room, we both got to tussling over that hammer, and then I reached over and I got the silver hammer.
So she had the hammer first?
She had her hand around the head of the hammer and was trying to push it back against me and turn the claws towards me. So I grabbed the silver hammer and hooked the handle on that and used it to pull it around up over her neck, so that could assist me in putting a forearm pole on top of a solid object to drive it further into her neck. And it was at that point that she literally just fucked me up.
At what point did she pull your prosthetic leg off?
That was after we were back tangled up like worms on the floor in front of the couch. After she had already hit me in the mouth with the lamp.
So she got you, well, she hit you, I forgot about that. She hit you with the lamp also.
Yeah, split my lip.
You cracked it too.
And we're still on the ground and we're still fighting over the hammer. I'm still not turning loose of it, so I'm not dying by my own framing hammer. And I'm telling her, you're lucky that
she pulls your leg off and she beats you with your own leg.
Well, she got her up and around and behind me by pulling on it with some ungodly amount of strength. I don't know how she managed to pull that off. You see Olympic runners with them on, they don't come off. She got it off me and used the back of the heel. She come around and whacked me in the side of my head, and then I turned my head and she got me twice more in the back with it. That was my head.
Did you have something else? All right, thank you, sir. You may step.
Thank you.
Any more witnesses for the people?
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
Any witnesses for the defendant?
Your Honor.
People?
Your Honor, at this time, I will move to bind over on counts 1 and 2. I would also move to add counts 3 and 4. I move to add count 3, felonious assault with a lamp. I'd also move to add count 4, felonious assault with a prosthetic leg. The witness testified that during all of this, the defendant grabbed a desk lamp, hit him in the face with it. He was bleeding from his mouth and his chest, and his tooth was chipped. He also testified that although I believe he explained that his prosthetic leg was suctioned to part of his body, she was able to use all her force to get that up and hit him in the head with it, and he had knots on his head from that. So, Your Honor, based on that, I am moving to add those 2 counts.
Your Honor, we would object to the bind over on all of the counts, including prosecution's added counts here. What we have is a dispute that Ms. Chemnitz may have started herself, but that was escalated to the point where 2 people are fighting mutually, and the complainant gets on top of Ms. Chemnitz and tries to strangle her with a hammer. How is he the complainant here? How is he the complainant?
That wasn't the testimony.
That was the testimony, Your Honor.
That he tried to strangle the complainant. That was not the testimony.
His testimony was that he used the hammer and put it on the side of her head. He's not being charged with at the Polonius facility. He's not being charged with GBH. That's shocking to me. First of all, the order of events, the hammer situation, his story keeps on changing. At one point, he said all of a sudden he was on the ground, she had the hammer. Then he said, well, no, they were just, he doesn't know when the hammer got into play, but they were just struggling over it. And then all of a sudden he's talking about two different hammers. That didn't even come, he didn't even talk about two hammers until Your Honor started asking him questions.
That's not true.
I did not hear him testify about two different hammers.
I did. In fact, he said there were 3 hammers in the house.
He said
They were in different rooms.
yes.
He said that he had grabbed one of the hammers. He tried to lock it with the hammer that she was trying to use.
Your Honor, his story changed multiple times. And that goes to his credibility, his memory of events, which the court has the duty to weigh under People v. Anderson. And based on his own testimony, along with that, based on his testimony about that, so we have the hammer. We have him testifying that he's on top of her and using it on her neck. And then the lamp comes into question. Then he's saying she hit him with a lamp. That's, if someone is putting a hammer on your neck, you have every right to try to get them off of you. And that, based on his testimony, is ostensibly what Ms. Kenneth was trying to do. And then we have the prosthetic leg come into play, where once again he testified she is still on the ground. And he also testified that he was on top of her multiple times. He testified that he put his fingers on her eyelids, that he was pulling his hair. This is a situation where there's mutual combat. I'm not saying that Ms. Kenneth is completely in the right, but when it comes to felonious assault with a dangerous weapon, the first person to use any type of dangerous weapon on was the complainant, was Mr. Cross, on Ms. Kenneth, by being on top of her and putting it on her neck. They were struggling over a hammer. There was no testimony that she struck him with it in any way before.
You didn't hear that part about her trying to use the claw end of the hammer to hit him?
My take on that, Your Honor, was that it's when they were both pulling over it. There's an order of events here that what he testified to are inconsistent. They don't all really add up, frankly. And I would argue for dismissal on all 3 counts.
Anything else, Ms. Grant?
No, Your Honor, I have nothing.
Okay, we heard from the witness, Thomas Cross, who indicates that the defendant was the aggressor and that she kicked down his bedroom door, came in throwing water on the heater, and then when she left out of the room, she went to, I think it was the living room, and started tearing things up. And some of those things she was tearing up, some of his things. He said, eye for an eye, if you're gonna tear up some of my things, I'm gonna tear up some of your things. So he smashed her phone. After he smashed her phone, she went into some kind of Bruce Lee mode. And she got some kind of superhuman strength where she jumped on the complaining witness and began to fight, and they end up on the floor. She has a hammer. In the beginning, he said that the hammer, he didn't know where the hammer came from. It came out of nowhere, but that she was trying to use this hammer on him. That in and of itself would be assault with a dangerous weapon, with the hammer. He said he grabbed a hammer as well and tried to use the hammer to get her to stop. In fact, he said he put his fingers in her eyes, trying to tell her that I can really hurt you, again, trying to get her to stop. That she took a lamp of some sort, hit him in the face with a chipped tooth, bloodied his mouth. And I think he said he was hit with that lamp at least 3 times. Then, while they're still wrestling on the floor like worms, I've never seen worms wrestle anyway. But they're on the floor wrestling like worms. She pulls off his prosthetic leg and continues to beat him with the leg as well. So we have the assault with the dangerous weapon, that being the lamp, as well as the prosthetic leg that he was hit over the head with. They gave him lumps in the head as well. The court is satisfied that people have met their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in the complaint warrant, as well as the additional charges of assault with the dangerous weapon. Count 3, the lamp, and count 4, the prosthetic leg. The court finding those charges were committed in the city of Detroit, and the court finding probable cause to believe this has been committed will bind the defendant over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court of Criminal Division for the proceedings. Her arraignment on the information date and time will be April 10th, 2024 at 9:00 a.m. Whether this was some kind of mutual combat is going to be left to a trial effect, to be determined by the trial. Final be continued.
Your Honor, can I address this, from Mrs. Tether?
Okay.
Based due to the questions of fact that the court has highlighted, and this tenant is not a flight risk. She is not a danger to the community. She was known to, she's staying with her, her friend Liz right now, who's in the courtroom, and, who's currently in a wheelchair. The tenant is helping care for her. I'd ask that her tether be removed. She's not a danger to the community, Your Honor. This
I haven't heard a single reason why the tether should be removed. Okay, so she's.
Sorry?
I haven't heard a single reason why the tether should be removed. She's caring for this other young lady this year. How is the tether interfering?
I'm just arguing. She can't go anywhere to medical appointments with Liz.
We can allow her to go to medical.
I would also just argue that this type of supervision, it's excessive at this point. I think personal bond without a tether, with a no contact provision, is sufficient in order to ensure that Ms. Evans returns to court and that she does not engage in
Strange.
At this point, I do think that a tether is appropriate at this time, but I'm not asking for any specific tether hours, whatever she needs to do, or how to learn.
Okay, so we'll make the tether without restrictions.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I need an order to that.
So, yeah, also,
Stay away from him though, okay?
I didn't know what to say again, there around.